And of course, welcome back to the Talk Past podcast. One of these days, I'm going to say that incorrectly. Uh,
It'll be a fun day.
the last episode, we were talking about what a day in reenactment is for us, for the medieval festival that we do. So, this is a continuation of that. I am the host here, NC, with my co-host.
Bundle me up in blankets and stick me in front of a heater. I am Red Iron Riot, aka the War Queen.
Indeed, prior to recording, I was coagulating some heat by the little table here. Save me for the hour. But yes, so of course the show that we do is now over as of this recording.
Yep. I hope they had a good run. It looks the pictures I've been seeing all look great.
I am impressed. Little audible or inaudible clap that every single ad on like social media for the festival has been using new images, using new footage. Normally, everything that's used for our festival was done like 15 years ago. Like the same images of people that are no longer doing show or like no longer look like that because now they're adults. And but anywho, it was nice.
I can't blame them. There's some really good. Some of those older pictures are definitely really good.
Mm-hmm. But they turn into like celebrities. So you go into the festival looking for like, who's the little kid there eating the gross turkey leg? It's like there's no little kid here anymore. But it was nice. Those were very good images. Everyone looks great, anachronistically, but awesome.
Yeah.
And honestly, that obviously like to get back to it next year.
For sure. I probably won't, but I'll figure out how to get involved where I am locally. So soon.
Indubitably. But let's get back to it. So we pretty much just encapsulated the morning, and we were getting right into noon, which for us is what we have called the chess match, the human combat chess match.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what it means.
It's exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah. I figure we're gonna encapsulate both chess matches because they're kind of close together. There's really not much in between. But I think it would be interesting to do a bit of the background look of that. Because I mean, if you've ever watched YouTube and saw some festivals that do this, whether it's a tournament, which we've started doing, or a chess match, they're all kind of the same, give or take, quality or skill or experience. But it would be interesting to kind of real quickly run over kind of what the backstage approach of that is, because for us, I mean, I think it depends on the time. I don't know, what is it, like 12 or 12:30? One of those two.
It used, yeah. If I recall correctly, it definitely was kind of the afternoon
ish. When everyone's finally able to drink.
Yeah, basically once the fights are done, then you can start drinking.
So for us, and obviously me specifically, I'll regale my little day of reenactment. So obviously we do have our phones on us and stuff like that. You're not going to not have your phone, right?
No. I always actually made sure to have a pouch that I could keep my phone on.
Yeah, that's our little reenactorism, because we need to know what time it is. And I know they say, oh, ask a guest or a patron, whichever you call them, be like, oh, what time is it? I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's weird.
And also, this is just me. Sometimes when, if we're walking the lanes and it's quiet and there's like, you don't have anybody to do a bit with, sometimes you're just like, hey, I want to duck into this vendor here, see what they got, and maybe get something. So I usually keep my wallet and my phone on me for that reason.
Oh yeah, no, honestly, I think I've mentioned before, most of what I do out in the lanes at some point, like I think like maybe 4 years ago, I started to literally just merchant cruise, right? Going through the merchant tents in character, not really going in to buy anything, just sort of to add the atmosphere. And you always obviously want to make sure it's okay with the vendor. That's why I always go in and I help them
Also, after the
character.
fights are done, great time for a snack or something.
Yeah, you usually do that in between. But
I never
no?
eat. I never ate between fights because
Ooh,
except for a lighter lunch.
okay.
Like after everything is done, then that's when it's like I'm going to go get some of those mashed potatoes covered in beef tips. Yes.
Oof, oof. Yeah. So I
Also,
mean, good.
sad news. So I don't know if you knew this, but the fellow who ran the meat pie,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Lionel.
yeah, he passed away not
Oh,
last year, the year before last, and
it's
so no more
unfortunate.
meat pie vendor.
So
Sad days. Had the Scotch eggs. One day I
they
will eat a
were
Scotch egg again.
uh the staple of our festival, no
Yeah.
matter who you ask and who wants it to be.
Mhm.
They provided historically accurate food when we were
Not a lot of people
corn on the
in
cob.
turkey leg. Nope.
Yeah, I've never had quail. But anywho, going back. So for me, I kind of like to get in there a little earlier. Oof, I had water. So my apologies if I pause.
Yep, you're good.
We in the back, we call it our green room or warriors camp, what have you. We usually will rehearse our fights, and because we do that obviously when we get to the show, but you want to do that before your fight too. And then we pretty much march. Now, our previous field had this weird, dank turtle tank, damp swamp of sadness that we walked through to get to the chess field, quote unquote. And that's the only place we have to rehearse those fights before we even do the fight. Um, and then I don't know, so what's kind of weird is we never really know what to do before the match. You notice that? There's a theme here. Before things, we don't seem to know what to do. But like when we started having that fence, and we go back there and just kind of wait. But I
Mhm.
mean, even then and before, we were usually just kind of like standing around in a line, waiting for the match.
I mean, in fairness, it feels like there's never anyone that really takes the lead on that until it's time to
Mhm.
go, time to actually start. So I don't know if that's just me, but I always see that time as a good. We're about to do something really big, so it's just like just breathe and enjoy the quiet for a moment before. How long do you think? How long would you say our matches usually ran? I never
Um,
recorded
I mean, the show
record
itself is like 30 minutes.
30, 40 minutes, maybe.
Oh, 30
Just
minutes, definitely cap.
right. Well, and now it's a cap because I don't know if this is still the case because they had to share the
Yep,
chessboard with the birds of prey.
still the case. Which I
New
mean
space.
is fine, but it does cramp on our time frame. It means that we gotta shuffle on and then shuffle off when it really shouldn't be
Yeah.
like that for any show. Any show,
Yeah.
no matter what. Even the bird person shouldn't have to, cinch up his birds and get the hell off the stage. Um,
Yeah.
but that's just a matter of scheduling, figuring out the schedule, I guess.
Hmm.
And I don't do that.
It's really weird. I saw at Barf they ran he had they actually let him use the joust tilt for the
Oh,
birds.
yeah. Um, they have I'm trying to remember the joust tilt. That was like when you're overlooking like a cage match with jousting. Well, they have a ditch that they use for their jousts. We built our list. Um, well, that way it's like you're looking over the joust. Oh God, I have cats over here. You're looking over the joust. Us, we've got seating. We've got like a little. I don't know what it looks like now, you know, but
Right.
kind of what we had. So I don't know what it is at the moment, but ours was just sort of like a Knight's Tale.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's a basic model for fairs to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, of course, I think it was last time that I did it uh, that we finally went onto the field and just kind of like meandered for like 15 minutes for some reason. which of course is it's entertainment, right? It's giving
Yeah.
people something to see, giving us some time to kind of warm up the crowd, um, in our own way, I guess, in some sense. For me, now I was a character that wasn't really a fighter, so I was just everyone was kind of like training fighting, and I'm just wandering around, being like, "Is this starting? What do I do?"
Uh,
Aside from insult people, and but yeah. Other than that, I mean, our chess match is pretty much human combat chess. It's pretty much, you know,
it's cut and dry. It's what
yeah.
it's like I said earlier. It's what it says on the tin.
hmm Both shows. Obviously, the first one's is our little friendly match
Mm-hmm.
in story, and then our second one, which is like 3 or 3:30 or 3:15 or 300, um, whatever time. That's more of our giving it up a. It's PG. We're going from G to PG, right? So
Everybody's
we
fine with
allowed
blood
one
and
F word.
gore.
hmm
The only thing people have problems with is the nipple. That
Indeed. Um, but yeah, no, between. So yeah, no, you mentioned about eating and how you don't really eat uh, when the matches are going on.
hmm
Weird, I guess I'm kind of the same, but yes and no. I do try to eat, but I tend to just for literally the entirety of the show just eat nothing but nuts and berries and little like trail mix.
Well, as a note, as a performer in a high stress environment like our fair is, it's important to eat because you need that fuel to get going,
hmm
to keep going. But also, I don't want to be stuck on the board. We're 30 minutes. It's Murphy's Law is a thing. It always
hmm
happens in the middle in on the board. The melee's about to start. You're like, oh no, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, that's why I force myself to go before each show.
Uh,
You just got to. You want to be prepared at least. But yeah, no, like in general, I just don't eat much until like 6
mhm.
o'clock.
Besides, some of the gut shots some of the guys take, even if it's pulled, you don't want to have food in there when that
Mm,
happens. That's not gonna
yeah,
end well.
not always. No. Now granted, my Alfred year was very lax.
hmm
I mean, I had a fight with Zach, um, and we did that. That was the last fight of the last chess match. It was a wonderful fight. I loved it. It was one of my favorite. But being a king and being the last fight was definitely doing that is it was very relaxed for me. I really enjoyed that perspective of just being able to walk around the board and kind of take the show more casually.
I can see that.
Not casually as in not do your job, but casually in the sense that you don't have to get on, get on your knees, get off, get on your knees, blah blah blah. You don't have to worry about your fight somewhere in the middle of the thing. I could dictate the fights that are written down on a notebook, so I don't have to remember it. So
Right.
that one, doing a king king is definitely or queen queen, is in my opinion better in the sense of being able to work your character more rather than deal with the stress of the chess matches.
hmm No, I can. That would kind of be nice, but I'm not good with my improv. I just like to fight.
No, it's valid too, though. But so after that, after the two matches, obviously in between is like the lunch hour, but
hmm
you either sleep or you eat. Um,
But it always feels like after that second match
mhm,
has happened, that's when it's basically the end of the day for
yeah,
everybody.
pretty much like 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock to 6. It's just it kind of feels like a free period.
It really
Um,
does. It really does. Like,
that for me is when I tend to go around, to the merchants again, but
hmm
be a little bit more laxed. At the start of the day, we're trying to get into our characters, trying to rile up our scenario. At the end of the day, we're really just kind of like beat. So
Hmm.
it's more still being in character, but being lax. And I think for me, that's when I enjoy the festival because that's when you just kind of like you're done. Now you
Yeah.
can just settle and enjoy your surroundings, enjoy the people around you, entertain or be entertained,
Hmm.
and
Like
then
I always usually like if there's at least one show like because I like watching the wenches, the washing ball wenches. I enjoy catching their show when I can, and usually it's the one after the chess match, like the last chess match of the day is the one we that the crew that the cast can mostly catch
mhm.
and be involved in.
Yeah, I know a lot of us go to the joust at the
Hmm.
end of the day for some reason. Um,
Well, I know the as the like the king and usually like the higher ranking characters usually have to go to a joust.
yeah. So
So
when I was Alfred, when I had that experience, I think they were going to do it because sometimes they offhand, you know, one king will go with one and the other will go to the other, but
mhm.
they decided that I would do all of them. And I mean, it was fine, but it's like give or take comments about each troop, the shows and whatnot, whatever. Um, I mean, it is sitting down watching horses. It's another like
uh,
30 minutes of just kind of doing nothing.
doing
Um,
nothing, playing a character a little bit because if I recall correctly, and this isn't just me pulling it out of my butt, sometimes like the good joust troops will interact with the
yeah,
cast and the king
yeah.
because yeah.
So little story then. So one of my first weekends, doing that. Now the group, I think Kelly, I don't know, I memory. So they had the audio system, they had the gun for some reason, even though it's supposed to be
Oh,
medieval.
yeah,
Um,
those guys.
yeah,
They were
but
they were more of a they weren't like a
they were
full
entertainment.
contact. Yeah, they were more entertainment than full contact
They
jousting, if I
were they were
recall.
WWE with horses.
Ah!
Um,
Can
anyway,
you smell what the knights are cooking?
and we had like little microphones on us
Mhm.
that give or take may not have worked. Um,
Mhm.
but I mean we do projecting so they can hear us anyway. But I I don't know, maybe they were playing with me or maybe I annoyed them. I think they were playing with me. But the next day, the Sunday, there was because when they're playing the games, they put the usually like an apple or something on the list, a
Yep.
little
Yep.
podium stand situation there, and they had a cabbage that they would be putting up there. So the Sunday, the cabbage had a Burger King crown on it. And they're
Oh,
like,
no.
"Well, it's good of the king to lend us his head." And
Oh.
I'm like, "Oh, I don't okay." They told me it
Ah.
was a joke, that they enjoyed our little riffs, but, who knows? I don't. But that was amusing. For me, the joust was more boring because I don't really care. But, as a person that does the festival, trying to branch out to the new people, I tried to take that opportunity to bring people on the podium that normally may never experience that, like new first years or peasants or this or that. So that's kinda how I took the jousts when I was king.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I just ignore it.
It's as much as I enjoy a good joust, once you've seen one, you've pretty much seen them
Mhm.
all.
Yeah.
It
Like,
takes it takes a really good troupe to really make it, make you wanna see it more than once.
yeah, and for some reason, that's what people remember. So, up here, up north, they've got King Richard's,
Mhm.
and, a coworker I talked to asked about what I do and mentioned King Richard's, like, "Oh, yeah, man." Uh, they don't speak that way. Um, Gotta get into the Packy Cat and have it yad. Alright, so yeah, the Jeffs, they were pretty good. Like,
I wanna say it's the horses.
yeah.
It's the horses and the armor, it's the stuff that really sticks out, but, it sticks into your brain visually.
Mhm. I don't know what King Richards has for fight shows, but I mean, the jousts seem to stand out to people. For me, it's just kinda like the same show 3 times a day. and like whatever. And the jousters tend to come. Not all of them. Not all of them. This is definitely a few and far between. But sometimes the ones that we've had have come across more like prima donnas. So I've just sort of ignored them because they got a job to do. They don't need me mucking around. Same thing with all the shows. I don't watch any of the shows. I don't know what the washing mill wenches do. I don't know what the Carolines are doing. Um, I don't know what any of the other shows are doing because we're told not to. So I just don't. Um, but you know, we get busy anyway. All throughout the day. I mean, you can get wrapped up in your character. Or you can get
Mhm.
wrapped up in the group you're in. You can get wrapped up in working with the crowd. Uh,
Mhm.
I mean, it's really either or. Like last year, not last year, but you know, last time, you know, I was putting little Christ Krispies in everybody's armor, everybody's clothing, very covert because that wasn't an intended bit, but you know, it kind of happened. I had 1,000 of those things I had to get rid of, and for some reason, you know, like I would throw them not at people, not into people's tents. And that was a whole story too, though. But we won't go down that lane. But but I'd be picking them up. Yeah, I'd be picking those back up. I spent $11 on those thousand of those little things, communion wafers. But I also kind of made that a bit too. But yeah, that became a story. And I left them at the house during our cast party because I did not want those anymore. So whoever picked that up and started continuing the tradition, it's not on me.
Well, everybody's got their own little traditions. I know the one
Hmm.
there's a elf on a shelf that I never really got, but it's a thing apparently.
Yeah, it's just a little thing to enjoy out of the season. You know, like I don't typically do Christmas, but this year my cats are, so I got them a tiny little whatever tree
Oh.
branch thing, and you know a little Christmas bag with some cat toys. You know, everyone does something that memorial memory word memorializes the season or a year or something like that. You know, like we do as we near the end of the show, part of day in reenactment, health to the company. We do our pub sing. We do the little closing pub part, and then that. Which
Pub sing.
always feels like forever. Not the
Uh,
song, but getting to it.
yeah.
I remember when I was doing the king. The king doesn't have any say. It's just a roll. Get over it. But but because some people were trying to like knock on me, were like, "Oh, he thinks he's running the show." No, I'm just as confused as you are. Um, but our director had me situating when we leave, when we go to the gate, um, because we had that whole thing with Guthrum and Alfred being like, "Ah." But
Yeah.
and normally we go at a certain time. So normally we go at like what 5:30.
I think it was 5:30. I don't remember. I'm a little fuzzy on that bit. I never really like until it's actually people we are outside the gate and a lot of people are leaving because it gets dark when it gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
Just all of a sudden just zoop.
Yeah.
So at
So
that
about
point,
yeah
at that
about
oh sorry, I was gonna say at that point, I'm probably still cruising the vendors, and then it's like okay, let's go do
I'd
this or
start.
that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we're supposed to be at pub sing. Some years, yes and no.
Yeah.
But for that, uh, I'm like, okay, well, normally we head out around like 5:45. Now the band Kudu, shout out to them. They're looking to me to be like, when do we go? When do we stop playing? Or start playing? And I'm just like, I don't know. Just keep going. Just keep going. I go to the director like, keep going, keep going. And like 10 minutes flies. I'm like, do we go now? It's 6 o'clock. Show's over. And no, keep going, keep going. And I'm like, what the hell? And because of course the last day of the show we extend a little bit. Kudu's coming over to me like, when it's like 6 o'clock, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know. And at some point, I think like 6:15, I'm just like, screw it. To the gate. Get the hell out. I want to go home. And yeah, so that was a weird experience. But beyond that, pub sing's always. I don't do the dancing. I don't know if you do. You ever done that?
Oh no, I'm not a dancer. I got 2 left feet.
Yeah, I'm a human, not a dancer.
Listen, my guy, I love you to bits. If I could reach through this computer to slap you, I would.
That's all right. That's all right. A lot of people want to, and some people have.
I say that with all love in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really enjoy that song. Dang it.
But yeah, so for me, pub sing's always like, all right, let's get it over with. Let's go home. Except for when I was living in Sarasota, when I was like 5 minutes away from the festival site, like, whatever. 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's 8 o'clock. I'm not doing a 35-minute drive.
Yeah, it was. And that end of the night can always be a little different depending on what night it actually is. Because if it was Saturday, then you've got some folks that are camping overnight because
which is always kind of weird, but I get it.
I mean, if you're into it, good for you. I want to go home to my bathroom.
That and a bed.
Yes.
Yeah. And food that isn't pizza from around the corner.
I
tried. I'm not going to knock them. We're not going to go down that ride. But another little minor story. So one year, I don't even remember which one it was. Whatever. I wanted to camp out because I'm like, you know what? This year I'll camp out because I think I had one tent, and stuff and whatever. I'm a big fan of having like a billion blankets. So, and growing up in like the frigid north. And it was just one dude just really annoying all night long, just like talking about themselves and this and that, and everyone's just kind of like, kill us. And I'm like, never again. Never again. Never again. I would rather have the quiet in my bed than risk someone's drunken antics again.
Oh boy.
Oof. Yeah, no. But I don't know if you ever camped out or anything of that nature.
Oh no, I didn't ever have a good tent. It's like I lived basically right across from the site. I didn't need to camp out.
Yeah. Lucky. So maybe camping for you. I think I would do it if I had a historically accurate Viking tent or Saxon tent.
That would be nice.
And all that kind of stuff. But no, never again. But after that we just watch our show again on a projector, and then everybody goes home or does weird things to each other. Not even like crooked, just like weird, like just people being, having friends and having
weird
fun.
People being weird.
Yeah, we're all quirky, do crazy stuff.
Yeah,
like 1 year. I'm trying to think. Yeah, 1 year was like a wrestling contest. I don't get that. That's like a weird man thing. So we like that time. To me, that time, I wish, for the most part, that I got to enjoy more of that sort of after show time. But obviously, for a longer period than not, I lived like 30, 40 minutes away, and it's better to just pick up and go. Especially if you got to be back at 6 a.m. When I was living right next to site, it was nice to get into the wee hours of the night with people and be like, 5 minutes away, don't worry.
Yeah. No, I get that. But no, like I said, Saturday nights are usually a little different because that's when people, you're staying on site. So if you're staying, you go back to your tent, you pop out of your armor or whatever, and
Mhm.
then Sunday nights definitely a different vibe on Sunday nights
I hope
because
they
it's
get
like
their clothes washed.
I am going to say it's very, very doubtful.
I mean, I've never noticed anything outlandish, but, that's the other thing about that. Because when I did, obviously I didn't. But, yeah, I don't know, I like being prepared. I like having things that are yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
like going into the show having, what I need set and ready, not
It
to still wearing the blood of the previous day.
like if I had the time and compunction to do it, and I actually usually do, it's like I at least have 2 tunics that I
Yeah.
could swap out if
Mhm.
I need to. It's like, you have an extra clean, you have some extra bits that are clean. So it's
Mhm.
like, okay, well this one I was in this all day. It was gross. I was sweaty. The weather was nasty. So I've, just absolutely drenched this sucker. I'm gonna go put on the clean tunic,
Yeah,
which I mean,
because those get soaked. Even on a cool day, because we're
yeah.
working sometimes in the mud or sometimes in the paint, uh, all day long.
Oh, not to mention the blood, the fake blood, and
Mhm.
the fight, the fight mess.
Yeah. So, do you have any? Now that we've obviously gone from morning to night. Do you have any like specific memory at any point that kind of sticks to you doing reenactment? It could be our show or not.
I mean, just just those moments, especially the Viking year, which is your
Hmm.
Alfred year. I just remember walking through the lanes with Turnip, and I really enjoyed that. It was very nice.
Yeah, Zach, other Zach,
Yeah,
little Zach. We have two. One is big, one is little. Not by much, but it's
yeah,
just a
no,
differentiation.
no.
Um, DK and CH. Um, yeah, for me, I guess it's more the in between, little moments in between. Those moments where you're with everyone on cast,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's just standing in line or waiting to go to the privy or outside the gate, ready to do front gate, or in that little area
Mm-hmm.
before the chess match, or just something. Those little moments where we just interact with each other as friends and get ready for what we do, and it's kind of you feel the air and the environment and the atmosphere.
Mhm. One of my favorite things to do, and that's all. Like I always enjoyed it. I actually one of my friends took a picture of me. One of the pictures I have from fairs of one of these moments where, I really always enjoyed just going up in the tower on the chessboard and
Hmm.
just watching folks watching the
Okay.
grounds. I know we weren't technically really supposed to, but it's like you can't. It's a tower. Come on, give me a
Well,
break.
whether we weren't supposed to, there were guests that were doing it. Like, come on. There were guests jumping down on the crash pad. Like, come on. Don't do that. Don't,
uh,
don't- if you see a keep, don't climb it. That's
Although
just my advice for the day.
that would actually probably make a fun game vendor for a fair.
If it
Like
was like a wall climbing
yeah,
vendor,
not like I know like there like some places have a little actual wall climbers. Like come on, give me some theme here.
yeah, like a wall climber, but they've got a circular keep for people to climb. They go to the top or something. That'd
Yeah,
be interesting.
that actually would be. It actually sounds like it would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I know we have the mazes, which are whatever
Yeah.
each year. Um, I know one year during our second King Arthur year, Michael and I just would go have lunch in the maze every day. Um, Not for any reason, but I wanted to eat lunch out in the lanes without being out in the lanes.
Right, right, right.
But no, he is he's gonna be a star someday. Because I mean, even when we're just hidden, and I tried to find a spot that no one's going to in those mazes that no one's going to, just so I can eat in
Right,
peace, and chill with a friend and stuff. Because he's,
right.
we had to accompany him. So like he sees someone and he just gets right into character. But maybe one day we'll tell stories about him from King Arthur year, but because there's a lot of them. I accompanied him for the most part during King Arthur year,
Hmm.
and because we had that whole like
Yeah.
sins thing.
Yeah.
We were the Sith basically. You will give me all of your things. I do a very bad Palpatine, but so does Disney. So,
But I'm Tish.
But we kind of went over everything. Unless there's any little things that you wanted to mention.
It's hard to it's really hard to verbalize the vibe of the end of a day of doing reenactment and fighting and doing the improv. It's really, I want to say it's something that if anyone has a chance to try it, you really should try it, because
Yeah.
it's just it's fun.
Of course, we didn't mention the tournaments. We've kind of started. I don't know if they did that this year, but I know I've kind of avoided them. Not because I don't want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
because I actually really support it. I think.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a good idea. It's just I would imagine having a fight in the chess match and then doing a second fight is just like kick your butt. Absolutely
Oh
kick your
yeah,
butt.
yeah. There was when I was Alpha, there was no time for anything else. And then the next year, 2019, I was going to do that with Dave, but my fight was very physically demanding, and there was just no time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta. I think they also sandwiched it in between
Oof.
the chess matches, so it was chess match, tournament, chess match.
Oof.
So it's like
That makes me
you gotta pick and choose your fights.
Yeah. Oof. But no, it's just hard to. It's a fun thing to do, and really, it's a fun experience.
It is, even for people with high anxiety or social stigma.
Like
We have a
me.
lot of. I was as well. We have a lot of people on cast that are high anxiety. For some reason, this very social thing tends to gravitate towards the anxiety-ridden people. But it's something that really can help you get out of your shell, if not be able to be around the public better. And I think that's something that's important to come across with reenactment. If anyone wants to do reenactment, I mean, obviously you're expecting thousands of people to be there, but you can be in your own little world and surrounded by 1,000 people, and
Mm-hmm.
it's such an interesting atmosphere. And I would never go to a festival if I wasn't doing it, which is kind of strange. But I mean, I don't. I take forever to come around with things. That's why.
That's
But
true.
but
But
I
also,
feel like ours I would. But
I would say, like, once you've been as a cast member, you kind of you go to a different fair, you see, you kind of notice little things.
each festival has its merits, and I think ours is our show, our cast, and doing it is just it's rewarding both socially, also as a performer, and it's kind of like a therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone does it for a different reason, and every reason is valid,
That is true. That is true.
unless they're doing it for raisins, and you are not valid.
Are raisins even period appropriate?
I don't know. I'd have to. We'll put a pin on that. We'll talk about that in our food episode.
I think, actually, I think they might be. I don't know if they'd call
Well, I
them.
mean, raisins are just dried up grapes.
Yeah. Huh. Yes. Anyway, that's a question for another day.
Indeed, it's a question for questions.
So I think so. Are you working on anything else at the moment? What's next in line? Would you say?
Obviously, we're here on the 11th, so the next episode, ironically, is coming out on the 25th.
Hey.
The episode after this one. Not really as it pertains to channel. I'm working on the Viking pillbox hat, which will come out in January.
And how is that coming along?
Slowly. My biggest thing is I don't want to ruin the fabric.
Right, right.
I don't want to do it wrong and then have paid of like $30 for fabric.
That's fair. That's
But
completely
it's coming
understandable.
out. It's coming out in January. And
Yay.
yourself,
Oh, I am still getting settled into my lovely snow, new snowy
No Castle, yeah.
yeah. Um I am actually I've with the help of I've mentioned my friend been learning to knit just
Hmm.
because I wanted to try it.
Yeah,
And it's been interesting, and I'm hoping eventually um I may be getting involved in helping a friend create chainmail because a
okay.
friend started doing chainmail jewelry and whatnot, and
Mhm.
I want to get my foot in that door. Where
Indeed, indeed. Well, obviously, in the future,
also
we'll have stuff.
there's a
Good.
Tandy leather store
Mhm.
in driving range.
Yeah,
That's
you
not
mentioned.
it's
Mentioned.
I think I might have mentioned, so that's probably going to be happening more
Yeah.
because
I'm lucky. Obviously, we did that on our gear episode, but obviously, I'm lucky to have a couple leather people that are local that I found through Etsy. So I don't know if there's a Tandy here, but I have access if I need.
I really should look that up, see if there's any local crafters in my area. I'm sure
Mhm.
there are. There's got
Definitely,
to
definitely.
be.
I mean, I know Etsy itself is kind of like a corporation, but you can get local people off of Etsy by narrowing the zip code and
Mm-hmm.
then seeing who's in your area and contacting them directly.
I'm gonna do that.
That's
Right.
how I found my wool, the wool that I've got for the channel, um, for the cloak episode, which obviously it came in as a square, so it's kind of done. Um, but all that was local. All that's actually driving distance too, so it was really nice. All of that is good stuff for reenactment, but that, in terms of fabric, is for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, that is it for this episode of the Talk Past Podcast. I am NC and yourself.
And I am Red Iron Right, aka the War Queen, shivering bundle of trash mammal.
Hmm. Likewise.
Listen, it's gonna snow tomorrow. It
Oops.
snowed Sunday one day, and there was a lot of it.
It,
Still getting used to it, okay?
yeah, it snowed one day here, but it was kind of a frivolous snow. I'm kind of dreading it, but we'll see how it goes.
Yee. All right, well,